Welcome to the Census Counts training on digital advertising basics. This video will provide an overview of what factors to consider ahead of deploying a digital advertising program to mobilize your communities around the 2020 census. My name's Christina, and I'll be your trainer. So here's our agenda for today. I'll be providing an overview of the digital landscape, go over a set of key terms you need to know to get started, talk about the types of programs you can run, show some examples of digital ads, walk you through the media planning process, share some general best practices, and then I'll leave you with a checklist you can keep by your side when getting started. The primary goal of this video is to help you develop a better understanding of how to use digital ads for your census advocacy. It's about learning the key categories of ads and the factors you need to determine when activating a digital buy. Historically, the Census Bureau has underdocumented people of color, urban, rural low-income households, and young children at disproportionate rates. When people are undercounted, it prevents these communities from having equal political representation and access to public and oftentimes private resources. Digital advertising will play a key role throughout the entire census timeline. During the building the muscle phase we discussed in the intro deck, it's important to grow your list or introduce more people to your organization. In the program deployment and optimization phases, ads can play a key role in identifying and recruiting enumerators and educating people about the importance of the census. The final phase, the program execution and get out the count, that's when you're going to shift your advertising program to amplify information about the specifics of how the census process is carried out online and offline and push your community to get out the count. Digital advertising leverages the popularity of channels we use every single day, like email, social media, texting, search engines, and websites to deliver promotional messages to its users. Think about it. Have you seen a digital ad today? Maybe it was in your newsfeed. Maybe it was when you were surfing the web. Each day, millions of people across the globe are influenced to take action after seeing an advertisement. The key is to reach the right people with the right message at the right time. So one of the biggest questions I get when it comes to digital advertising is, what should my team look like? Who's best equipped to run a digital advertising program? Keep in mind, digital ads should build off of your existing structure. A great digital advertising program factors in your website, email outreach, and social media program. Viewers should seamlessly flow through these assets with ease. Here's an example of Faith in Public Life's digital assets. They've made it easy for users to take their actions, and their branding and messaging is consistent on their donation forms, website homepage, sign-up pages, and their Facebook and Twitter profiles. Before you begin this process, it's important to take stock of your most important resource, your team. Do you have existing or digital communication staff, what some refer to as in-house staff, that are knowledgeable or have the potential to run an ad program? If not, you might want to outsource the stream of work to an advertising agency or consultant. There are 4 options that you should consider here. Option 1 is that you can run all aspects of your digital advertising program within your organization. Option 2, let's say you know how to run the ads, but you just don't know how to make them pretty. This is when you should consider outsourcing the ad design to a creative agency and run the ads within your organization. Option 3 is essentially the opposite. So let's say you have an amazing designer, but you don't know how to actually run the ads. Then consider outsourcing the ad buy-in. And then option 4 is to hire a full service advertising or creative agency to run your full program. Then you'll be able to work with them where they can provide you with reporting about the health of your overall program. Here are some of the pros and cons of running the program within your organization. Keep in mind that when you're running ads in-house, you'll need someone with full or half-time capacity to run an effective program. This person should also be knowledgeable of all aspects of your digital program. In-house ad staff allow for full control over creative and implementation. With this control, you can make sure that it's easily integrated into your broader strategy. Staff should spend about 10 to 30 hours per week, depending on how robust your program is. The other option is to identify a consultant or industry expert who can either make the advertising creative or run the full media planning process with your input. Consultants typically have years of experience and know the latest trends. When budgeting, you do have to factor that they'll usually take about a 10 to 15% commission on top of the amount spent directly for the ad. They are able to send automated reporting and keeping you looped about how your program is doing. This option allows your existing staff to devote capacity to other projects. Let's transition to the advertising glossary. Advertising has a language of its own, and to give you a better sense of what folks are talking about when they're talking about ads, I'm going to share some key terms with you. Creative. So this is the image or the visual that contains all of the data for visually rendering the ad itself. It's the picture. Ad copy. This is the text that appears in an advertisement. It's designed to get the reader to respond or take an action. Ad sizes and ad placements. A placement is the area where you run your ad, and the size is how much real estate you have on the page. Next up, we have ad completion. This is when you're running a video ad, whether or not it plays all the way through the end of the ad. Ad network. This is the type of company that connects websites with advertising to sell and aggregates that inventory for advertisers to buy, usually via programmatic exchanges. Ad server, another type of company whose technology relays an ad buy to a website and reports on how it is performed. Additional vocab includes frequency. This is the number of times an ad is delivered to the same browser in a single session or time period. Reach is the total number of different people or households exposed at least once to an ad during a given period. Viewability, a metric that addresses the ad's opportunity to be seen by a viewer. The final terms on the list are geotargeting, target audience, and key performance indicator. Geotargeting is used to show ads to people based off of their mobile device's location. This is usually information from their zip code they submit when registering a site or service, or that their GPS coordinates data that is collected by a site service. Your target audience is the intended audience for an ad, usually defined in the terms of specific demographics like age or gender, or their interests or behaviors. Key performance indicator, which is also known in shorthand as a KPI, is a measurable value that demonstrates how effectively your ads are performing. Now, let's transition to talk about advertising programs. The type of program you're going to run is going to be contingent on your broader goals. There are 3 types of programs that it's going to be helpful for your census mobilization strategy: awareness, persuasion, and direct response. Awareness campaigns are focused on getting your broader messaging and key information for soft supporters. These are the types of ads that you'll deploy to educate your community about the census process. Persuasion campaigns are centered around changing the opinions and help people make a decision point. These are going to be the types of ads that you'll want to run to convince people that they should even fill out the census form. Then there's direct response campaigns. These ask viewers to take a direct action for list building, fundraising, or mobilization. These should be deployed when asking people to apply to be an enumerator, a volunteer, host an event, or even just fill out the census form directly. Awareness and direct response ads are going to be best used for community building and list growth. Awareness and persuasion programs should be deployed when educating your community about the census. And direct response programs will be best for enumeration recruitment and getting out the count. Under each program, there are specific types of ads that you can use. First step are native ads. These are ads that match the form and function of the platform for which it appears. The purpose of these types of ads are to make it feel like the user's already enjoying the content that they're consuming. Here's an example of a native ad on the popular media site Refinery29. It looks like an article that one of their writers would have published. 2 things to keep in mind when using native ads: they're usually really expensive, and you don't get the SEO benefits that you would if it was an article that was written by a reporter. Next, we have search ads. So I'm sure you've seen these ads appear above or to the right side of a search query. These ads are based off of a set keyword that a user enters. You can run ads to appear when someone Googles key phrases like, "When is the census?" or citizenship question. The best thing about these ads are people already have expressed an interest in your content, but the volume depends on people making that search. Display ads. These are the most commonly used ads. They typically appear on third-party pages and displayed as a banner at the top or on the side of your website. These ads have a wide reach and have less competition and are you can easily make adjustments to them. Keep in mind that these ads can feel like spam or get ignored with ad blockers. One of my favorite types of ads are homepage takeovers. These are great when you really want to make a statement. This is when you buy all of the ad space on a page, like the new site seen here. These are perfect for the final phase of the census timeline. Another favorite of mine are paid petition sites. These are perfect for list building. Sites like Campaign Action, Move On, or Change.org provide promotional opportunities to raise awareness about an issue and get people to self-indicate if that issue is important to them. They're very affordable, and you usually pay based on how many people sign up. These are the types of ads that you should use to start growing your list now. Facebook ads are the holy grail of ad targeting. These are the ads that appear in your news feeds based off of your interests. Social media companies allow advertisers to tap into key information about users and then serve them ad space off of that information. These are the types of ads that are most intuitive, and the programs are usually easily accessible with any budget. Keep in mind that Facebook is constantly adjusting its parameters and regulations, especially for what it could consider political advertising. So before you sit down to launch a campaign, make sure that your organization has been verified as a trusted organization to run ads. Twitter ads are similar to Facebook. They'll appear as promoted tweets, promoted accounts, and promoted trends. Twitter ads are clearly marked with a promoted icon. Users interact with most promoted content in the same way as organic content in their feeds. Like Facebook, the ad buying workspace is intuitive and they're very affordable. The cost is contingent on how many people you want to reach. Now that you have an understanding of the digital landscape, key terms, and the types of ad programs, let's transition to media planning. This is the digital ads lifecycle. There are 4 phases: media planning, creative development, executing and reporting, and program optimization. First is media planning. This is typically the first phase where your team determines where an ad fits into your larger organizational strategy. You map out your goals, use the ads as a tactic to support them. This is the stage where you determine your budget, the placements you're interested in, and how much you're spending per tactic or campaign. Second is creative development. This is when your designers create the visual component to match the ad placements listed in your media plan. Third is the executing and reporting phase. This is when you push your ads live and track their performance over time. When you enter the final phase, which is optimization, this is where you shift your budget around based off of which ads are performing the best. So let's say you're running a petition around the citizenship question and it brought in 100 people at $2.50 per person or per conversion. And your Facebook ads only brought in 50 new users at $2.15 per conversion. Invest more in the petitions. All right, let's talk about budgets. On this slide, we've ranked the ad types based off of how expensive they are. Keep in mind that the more people an ad has the ability to reach, it's going to be more expensive. The most expensive ads are going to be those homepage takeovers. While the price will vary depending on the publication circulation, they're typically about $2,000 to $20,000. The most manageable and cost-efficient ad types are going to be paid petition, search, and social ads. When thinking about your budget, you need to know the pricing terminology. Yes, there's more vocab to learn, so let's start with cost per click. This is usually reflected on a media plan or pricing sheet as CPC. Also could be seen as pay per click or PPC. Its model is used to direct traffic to websites in which an advertiser pays a publisher, typically a website owner or a network of websites, when the ad is clicked on. Another common pricing term you'll see is CPM. That stands for cost per 1,000 impressions. This term denotes the price of 1,000 advertising impressions on one web page. Additionally, there's fixed cost, which is pricing that is essentially just set at one rate. It doesn't increase or decrease with user interaction. Cost per acquisition, also known as cost per action, cost per acquisition, or cost per conversion, is a pricing model where the advertiser pays for a specific action or conversion. Here are some guiding principles to help you in determining your budget. If your budget is less than $5,000, you're going to get the most bang for your buck with paid search and platforms like Facebook and Instagram. Instagram's buying platform is the same as Facebook's. If your budget is $5,000 to $20,000, you're going to have a little bit more to explore using Twitter ads. And if your budget is about $20,000 or more, there's going to be an opportunity to integrate display and video ads into your buy. On this side, you'll see an example of a media plan. When working with an ads consultant or ads agency, they're going to provide a spreadsheet of all of the elements of your plan. Typically, plans include the name of your creative or the name of your ad campaign, the type of ad, so that will indicate if it's display, homepage takeover, or a banner, your target audience, the region that the ad is run in, the dates of your campaign, the cost, and the pricing model. When measuring your ad campaigns, there are different metrics to look at depending on the program type. So for direct response ads, you're going to look at cost per action. For awareness campaigns, you're going to look at how many people engage with your content or the cost per click. And for persuasion campaigns, you'll measure the impression quality or how many times someone viewed an ad. Here are some quick tips for you to consider. So let's talk a little about creative. So here are a couple of things to keep in mind when selecting photos or images. Photos of people usually perform the best, and when possible, use colorful photos that have people facing the camera. The other thing is to make sure that the button that is displayed with the ad makes sense. So if you want someone to buy a Census 2020 t-shirt, make sure that it says buy or purchase. And if you want someone to volunteer, say volunteer. On the messaging front, you want to make sure that you have short, clear, concise copy with a call to action and that your message is overall encouraging. All right, let's bring it all together. Here's a checklist of questions that you should answer before you launch your ad campaign. What are the overall goals and what does a successful campaign look like? What's my budget? What's the capacity of my team? Who is my team? Do we have a designer, an ads manager, a copywriter? Who's my audience? Who am I trying to reach with these ads? What actions do I want users to take? What am I saying? What is my message? What are we really trying to communicate here? And then think about the user journey. What information do you need to collect? What should the landing page look like? And is this overall experience mobile friendly? Now you have all of the tools that you need to get started. If you're interested in learning more about digital ads, RSVP for the Census Counts Digital Organizing Summit.